Here we are, folks, standing right in front of the long-awaited Yamaha DM7. Looks like it's the successor to the QL and CL series. It's a very interesting combination of features from Yamaha's TF, RIVAGE series, and CL that we're going to love. I know there's plenty of stuff I'm going to leave out today. This is by no means a comprehensive overview of the desk, but I'm going to treat it as what are my initial reactions, how does this stack up and compare against Yamaha's other offerings and just other desks in general, and what are some cool features that I found. And what I want all of y'all to do is to leave me a comment on what you want me to dig into or features you want me to uncover in later videos, because there will definitely be later videos on how does it sound, what the processors sound like, what are some cool tricks. So that's to come. So this is more of like a gut check, first reactions. I've only been with it for about an hour or so, but first I want to give you a walk around and look at the desk. I'm on my iPhone 14 Pro on the 0.5 lens to give you perspective. It's got two bays of 12 right here. It's got these 4 channels right here. The size is not quite as wide as a QL5, not as small as a QL1. There is the DM7C compact, or DM7C, which is the compact version, and I could lift this by myself easily. So if you need to transport it somewhere, not a big deal. So walking around here, look at the back. It's dual power supply, which is nice. So if one goes out, they can run on the same circuit. They don't have to be separate, but I guess one maybe shore power and then one on a UPS would be cool. We got 16 analog outs, 32 analog ins. I like these AES ins and outs. So you got 4 channels each, time code, Dante card built in. This is native and it's 144 channels, so a ton of I/O. And then I also got the USB card connected up. Make sure and install the USB driver from Yamaha. It will recognize it and it will play audio without it, but it's really distorted and the channel count is different, so make sure you do that. This one's got a PY slot, so if you want to throw a Wave sound grid card or something else they're going to offer in the future, that'd be cool. And of course, network control. So pretty simple on the back. Let's talk about the overall feel of it. I have been working on a RIVAGE series desk as of late on a show in Vegas and then one here in town. This might just be because it's new, but the faders feel a little stiff. I mean, just the faders feel so good on the RIVAGE. They are butter. So comparatively, I think after some more use, they'll feel a little bit smoother. They still feel nice, just a little stiff. All the on buttons select feel really similar to a CL series. Then we also have these encoders. I really like Yamaha, how they have stepped encoders. It's not continuously variable. You feel the little tick, 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 which is nice. And that's the case here. The touch and turn knob is a little bit bigger, has a little bit more, I like that has the rim around the bottom. You can really feel that I have this knob. That's here on both sides. I really like that. What's really cool, kind of a creature comfort, is this light strip here on the top. So you don't have to have the little goosenecks out here. It lights it. I haven't tested this in a dark room, but you can also control the color temperature of this. So you can make it more daylight or more warm, which is neat. I would say the screen is very, very sharp. It looks really good, especially compared to other Yamaha offerings. And again, later videos, I will adjust this video setup so we're not seeing as much glare. So I apologize in advance. This is pretty quick and dirty, but the screen looks really, really sharp. I can see it from far away, even though it's not, I mean, like it's still a really nice size. I'm not sure how it compares to something like an Avantis, but it's very sharp. I like that. Some things that might feel a little different to you if you're a normal Yamaha user is you're used to seeing buttons here on the side and in the middle to scroll through your layers of, your inputs. So those are gone. How you're going to be able to get to those is here at the top. That's something that was different off the bat of like I need to look at channels. And then I can go here to look at the custom fader layers or outputs or inputs and put that at the top. So what I'll probably find myself doing in the future is either having my inputs or custom layers here at the top, and then here on this second page doing, so if it's inputs over here, outputs over there, whatever, I'll figure that out. Get some flight time on the console, but just know if you look down here, these are all user-defined keys, which I'm sure you can map to have your layers. So, layer 1, custom fader bank, A1, A2, whatever you want, but that's just a little bit different to get started off the bat. Again, a lot of these are just kind of random order, but I really like the sequential patch feature. So I just patched in USB card inputs 1 and 2 here to channels 11 and 12. So if I look here at the USB input and I select a source It has this sequential patch. So if I hit 1, it automatically pops over 2, so I don't have to go to that. So it makes patching faster as far as stereo pairs go. If you're a little bit old school and like some really analog labeling, if you will, there is room here for tape if you want it. Again, if you're switching around layers, this doesn't make a lot of sense, but if you have a really easy show or want to make something really easy for volunteers and don't have a complicated setup, you can put tape there. Talk a little bit more about the USB driver. So I have it hooked up and I've got Gig Performer here. And one thing I would use the USB driver for is to send my program bus for records out into a low latency limiter here, like the L3 I have in low latency mode. I'm running here at 96K. The console can run at 48 or 96 with the internal clock or Dante. So I'm running at 96. And I'm running 128 samples, and it's only a 1.3 millisecond round trip latency. And then inserting this guy at low latency only adds another millisecond. So under 3 milliseconds round trip to make sure I have that. So that's one feature I really wish Yamaha would incorporate is a true peak limiter. It's great to have all sorts of fancy compressors now built into the channel strip. I can get the legacy comp as well as a diode bridge comp, a Neve clone. I can get an 1176. So that's really neat, but I'm really surprised with Yamaha's emphasis on the broadcast package you can add on to this for loudness metering and that stuff that I still cannot prevent any true peaks from happening. I can set a compressor's attack time to 0 milliseconds, but it does not prevent peaks. Another thing that's a different workflow from any other Yamaha desk is the Dugan. So that's right here. And I've got 64 channels of Dugan, which is amazing. On the CL QL, you only had 16. The RIVAGE has 64, but you still have to take over and decide whether you want a bank of GEQs or PEQs to be lost. That's not the case anymore. You still keep all your EQs. And I have up to 5 groups. So here I've got group A. And if I tap this, it's now blue, or it's in C, D, E. I have up to 5, which is really cool. So this could almost be like a brain for a set of breakout rooms, and over Dante push all your RF into here if the other desks don't have the Dugan or don't have enough auto mixing capabilities. So that's pretty cool. Or if you want to have a separate group for on stage versus Q&A microphones or something like that. But I like that you have 5 groups and can assign any amount of channels. So this is something similar to the Avantis where you could break up the auto mixer into I think 2 of 32 or 4 of 16. This is even more flexible because it's not just breaking it up into predetermined channel counts. You're able to determine exactly what channel is going to each auto mixing group. Very cool. And I could not find in the manual the signal path, but I'm assuming this is stuck on being post on, I think, therefore post fader. But I need to look into that a little bit more, so don't quote me on it. But signal flow pretty much follows the top. So we got the analog gain, digital gain, dynamics 1, EQ, dynamics 2. Then you have 4 inserts that can all be moved around. You can change the insert point right here. But you can have up to 4 processors. That could be an insert. That's how I'm getting something outboard into my machine, is over here on the USB card, putting an insert. We got pan. You got 2 stereo buses, which is now similar to the RIVAGE series, which is very nice. You could do some flexible routing with that. And then I think after the on is the Dugan. So on the EQ, I've got my high pass. I can go here to also enable a low pass, and that does not eat up one of my EQ bands. You got 4-band EQ, high pass, low pass, which is nice. I can touch screen, move this around if I want, or use the encoders at the bottom. I really like how these map to all the colors of what I'm looking at. So this is the low band, the 3, 3, 3, 3. So I love they're leaning on color in this. So I know that red is always low. I got in the right order, Q frequency gain, Q frequency gain. That's really nice. And you can adjust the slope of the high and low pass, which is nice. You have more options that were available in QLCL, except with the low pass. You only got 6 and 12 dB per octave. Not a huge deal. These look like Butterworth filters to me. Another cool feature is if I go to setup, then bus setup, you can have control over the send point. So you can be much more precise rather than just pre-fader or post-fader with at what point in the processing something gets sent on a mix, and it's per mix. Then I think this is also available on the direct out. So if you're mixing someone's monitors and they're like, hey, I want my vocal pre-processing, but I want to hear all the drums post-processing, you can adjust that per channel here. Something also available to you in the RIVAGE series desks, but not in the CL or QL. Another fun creature comfort thing, because I'm really anal, is if you go here to monitor, I can go here to phones and I can select the sources, but then I have an insert point for my phones. And so that means I can do any EQ on just the headphone output to account for any anomalies in my headphones and get them flatter. So this is close to being able to run SonarWorks, if you're familiar with that software, on any output. And I could even use this on the insert and send it to, looks like I can't do an outboard insert. It looks like I have to use something internal, so I can't send it out to the machine and back with SonarWorks inserted. But that's something really cool, because I would have to do some weird things with the matrix routing and queue that up instead. But I like that if I want my headphones flatter, I can do EQ there. Another cool feature is I can see all my mix bus sends and my matrix sends all here in one column. If I tap here again, I'm able to go to, let's see, mix 1. I can easily just hit 0 dB right here, or -6, and it automatically sends it right there, or I can clear it, so I don't have to drag. So I can do a variable send here if I want, but that's really cool to have these presets available. I don't think they're user definable, but I think that's a really cool feature. All right, that was a bit of a hopscotch around the console. Again, I'm going to be doing more videos on the desk on specific setups, giving you some of my console files that I build on it for corporate shows, for bands, whatever. So please comment below with more you want to know about the console so I can do later videos on that. Again, thank you Avad 3 Event Production for letting me get a hold of the desk. It's fresh off the dock. I hope to be using it on some shows soon, letting you see what it looks like in the field. My name is Michael Curtis, and thank you for watching. See you later.